Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Monday, November 6th, and I'm sure you guys are all going like, oh, fucking clocks turn back, all that stuff. Clocks forward, clocks back. Still don't understand how we're still doing that old world stuff, but whatever. It doesn't really affect me. It affected me when I started comedy. I remembered because when it was summertime, it would be still light out, and you'd be doing these open mics like at the Comedy Store. You do the potluck on Sundays and Mondays, and it has a big window in the showroom, and it would be sunlight out. There's nothing worse than doing comedy in the sunlight. I think the only time it really happened pretty good was on that Oddball tour because it was just so festive and everything. But other than that, doing comedy while the sun's out still, there's places on the road I hear about. I don't do them, but I hear where you got to do 3 shows in a night, so you'll do like a 5:30. That's just terrible. To me, comedy gets really cooking around 10:30 p.m. Between 10:30 and 12:30 is really the comedy sweet zone, and everything before that seems to be the horrible in all different ways. But anyway, clocks forward, clocks back, whatever it is. Here we are on a Monday. And good to have you guys on board. Great guest today. I don't have comedians on much, but when I do, it's somebody that I really appreciate or think is incredible or just a great human all the way around. And that is my guest today, Mr. Mark Norman, New York comic and funny ass dude and great human. Just one thing I know that I've learned by doing New York nonstop is the comics there are just so fucking nice, man. I love it. I love all you guys out there. And Mark sat down with me for an incredible episode because Mark is really one of the only comics I know that owns a place in New York City. Actually owns an apartment there, so that really fucking fascinated me because I hear how hard it is to buy in New York City. So I wanted to hear, how do you do that? And it was great to have him on, and also to hear his whole struggle from when he first starts comedy to buying an apartment. I mean, right there, you get to hear the time frame of just grind, and this guy got robbed and mugged a few times, shitty apartments, bed bugs, you're gonna hear it all on here, and it's just great. Also, we talk a little drugs, which I always love. He did recently did some Molly in Paris at the Louvre, which is super cool. So, Mark, you're gonna love this episode. So, I always love when people go like, I'm not really into such and such episode, or I didn't think I was going to like this or that or that. And then they listen to it and go, but it was incredible. Just fucking listen to them all, man. I don't sit around and just book guests like, this will be crazy boring, but fuck it, I need a guest. I've never, ever done that. I've never had a guest on that I was just like, I need a guest, and threw a guest on. If I have a guest on, it's because I know it's going to be an incredible conversation and you guys will like it. That being said, let's get into a couple things that I did this week, and then we'll get into the episode. I was just at the Surf Ballroom with Bill Burr, and I can't even tell you how incredible it was. I think I talked about it before I went out there. The Surf Ballroom is the last place Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper played. And it's in, Mason City, I believe, or Clear Lake, Iowa. Clear Lake, Iowa, and Mason City's right next to it. And what I wasn't aware of was I was flying into Minnesota, and then I was taking another plane over, and I didn't realize we were taking a prop plane, which is always spooky. And I was telling Burr this as we started to take off. The prop plane was pretty nice as far as like the seats. They were kind of luxurious. Usually those prop planes have these shit little plastic seats and it's ice cold inside of them. And it just feels like death. But this one was pretty damn nice. But I think back to when I skydived. I've skydived twice. And as we're going up in the prop plane, I was telling Burr, I would never skydive now, ever. And it's so funny to think like, that I did it twice. And the first time was scary, but the second time was even scarier because I was like, I already fucking did this. I already survived it. Why am I doing it again? I don't need to prove anything. I got my fucking adrenaline rush and I did it a second time and I'll never do it again. So whenever I'm in a prop plane, I just think about that time, the first time I skydived. And we were slowly going up to 10,000 feet or whatever. Maybe it's 20,000. I can't remember. We went to the height where you could free fall for a minute. And the guy opened the door and two things hit me. First of all, it was freezing cold and it was a hot day. You know, you get up there, you're not even thinking, you go, holy shit, it's freezing. And the second thing was he opened the door and I was supposed to jump out. And I was like, nah. I remember the whole plane ride up. The plane was so fucking small and slow that it took like 30 minutes to get up to the proper altitude. And then there we were, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to skip that. And he's like, you don't get your money back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And then for a quick second, I was like, what am I doing? I'm jumping. Fuck this. And I jumped out. And I don't know if I ever told this story before, but the adrenaline... I remember I tilted backwards and under the wing I saw they had painted "See ya" under the wing. See ya. That's the thing I saw. And then the adrenaline was so fucking fierce. And I could see how people become adrenaline junkies because I've done all the drugs and nothing came close to this. It was so fierce that for a quick, I don't know, maybe a couple seconds, I don't know how long it was, my brain just blacked out, just like a zzz of pure adrenaline, complete just, and then I was like, whoa, I'm fucking in the sky here. And you're fucking hauling ass. And, so anyway, whenever I'm in a prop plane, it reminds me, and here I am in a prop plane, flying to Clear Lake into the same airport that Buddy Holly and those guys took off out of and crashed. And the whole thing's kind of spooky. But on the other point, I was like, well, I was born the day they died. So if I go down, it's going to be weird. It'll be crazy. Like, this guy went down, After a while, you just kind of give in. You're like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. And, yeah, man, we did the surf ballroom. We saw the historic green room with all the great signatures. I put them up on Instagram. Waylon, Willie, Robbie Krieger. Who else was up there? There's some great guys. Burr signed it. Burr signed the roof. That was cool. The room was incredible. The actual venue had a full museum of all this cool Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper stuff. It was cool to see Buddy Holly there just holding it. It looked like a 50, maybe 7 or 8. I was trying to figure it out because they died in 59 and Strat was a slab board in 59. So it might have been 58 because it was still a maple neck, but it was a two-tone Stratocaster maple neck. That's the shit I'm looking at. I'm looking at the gear, and then I was looking at his glasses like, fuck, Buddy Holly had badass frames, man. I should Google and see if the actual brand came up. It looks so great. His glasses, they were kind of a pointier, almost a cat eye kind of Ray-Ban looking frame, man. Really cool. I mean, Buddy Holly, just the original hipster look. If you look at him, you go, that's the original hipster. Buddy Holly is ground zero for the hipster look. And when I was growing up, that was the nerd look. And you'd be like, fucking nerds. You didn't want to look like that. And then I end up looking like that as your eyes go bad. And also you just kind of give in to like, this is cool. I'm fine with how I look. Anyway, Surf Ballroom, incredible. Then a great weekend of comedy at the Store and the Laugh Factory this weekend in LA. It was really, really just amazing crowds. Had a great time. I wanted to give my quick Harley review. Everybody was asking what I thought about the bike. I finally got to ride the new 2018 Harleys. I wanted to ride the Fat Bob, which is, of course, I've talked about it before. Harley took the Dyna platform and they combined it with the Softail platform, which just sounds loony and everything when you think about it. But there's a couple things. Yeah, this company, you can shit on them all they want, but doing business in America in this climate of people not buying motorcycles and people not buying anything, you could say all you want, but I'd rather have this motorcycle than no Harley Davidson factory. And if you look at Harley's numbers and all the motorcycle world, the motorcycle world is down. And I said, as long as there's texting while driving, the motorcycle rider, as it is going to disappear, either by death or by fear. Because people all day long are just texting and mowing over riders. Like, oh, I got to text my friend going for margaritas. And, oh, I think I just hit somebody. Oh, I killed a biker for that tweet. Anyway, as long as that's out there, and it's getting fucking crazier and crazy. Like I said, I used to have one close call each year, and now I have one about once a week. And I'm talking serious close calls by dummies out there just texting. So, whatever can keep the motorcycle company open, Harley Davidson, whatever they need to do, I support them. Do I 100% agree with the new platform? No. But I'll tell you what I do like, and I always like to say promote what's great, not what you hate. I've owned all the Harleys. I've had the Dynas, the FXRs, the Road Kings, the Street Glides, the Heritage Softails, the Road Glide. What else have I had? The Sportster Nightster. I had the XR, what was that? The 1000. I've had them all. I've had all the platforms. I'm going to give you a real quick rundown. I rode the Fat Bob 114. Engine is incredible. The brakes work. I do not know why the brakes work. They are not the Brembo brakes. They're the Harley ones that never worked on Dynas. I was told that because the rotors are bigger now, the brakes work, and they work phenomenal. It's so funny because for years, if you bought an FXR or a Dyna, the brakes do not work, especially on the Fat Bob. They do not fucking work. The bike had no brakes. You would have to buy brakes, which would cost about, I would say, $800 for a good brake upgrade. So the brakes work great. The motor's amazing. The tranny's great because the motor and tranny are the same ones on my Road King. So I already love that shit from last year, the Milwaukee 8 engine. It's got an inverted front end that is phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you right now, the frame and suspension blew my mind. I hit a crazy pothole on the highway on purpose. I saw it and I went right at the pothole, hit it, and it just went bloop right over it like it was nothing. The suspension is phenomenal, and all the money you spend on an FXR, which would be about probably $15,000 to get it up and going, is the price of this bike. So you're going to go buy an FXR. Of course, don't get me wrong, I love the classic look and everything, but you're not going to ride it stock. You're going to do handlebars. You're going to do suspension upgrade like Öhlins and some fucking emulators in the front end. You're going to go Brembo brakes. You're going to go motor. The motor on those FXRs are slow and small. And by the time you get in that, you're a good $15,000 in, maybe more. And you can buy this bike for 15 something, 16. I don't know what it is. But here's some things I didn't like about it. And I'm not knocking it because I think in a year Harley will come out with some this same platform and make it better and better and better. And that's what they did at the Dyna. If you look at the 99 Dyna, I think it was terrible. Single disc, just that blonde, ugly motor, shitty shocks, and the whole nine. It had a bad tranny, I believe, when they went the first year of the 5-speed or 6-speed, sorry. First year of the 6-speed, it had a bad bearing, all kinds of stuff. Harley always keeps evolving and keeps working on it. So some of the things I don't like, which are small, but I think next year they'll get it together. And before I tell you the things I don't like, I fucking loved riding this bike. And I wish I could have rode it for a couple days. Here's the things I don't like. The tank is ugly as fuck. It's too small. It looks like an aftermarket tank that you buy for a Sportster back in the 80s. One of those, I forget what they were called, like fat, hog tank or whatever. You'd buy these tanks that would go on to the Sportster that just had the peanut tank. And they looked like they didn't quite fit. They would just sit on the frame, but you could get more miles. I do not like this tank at all. And I cannot stand the dash on it. It looks like something a guy picked up in the garage and just threw on the bike. I can't stand the exhaust. And what else? I'm looking at the bike right now. I love the headlight. I think mostly it's the tank, and also some of the stuff on it seemed a little fake. Like the frame looked fake. The paint they used, instead of that nice gloss, they used this matte paint, and it made the frame look kind of like plastic or something. A lot of stuff on the bike looked like plastic, but it wasn't. The bike got a little hot on the rear cylinder, I'm not going to lie. And since it had forward controls, my leg was laying over the cylinder. And one thing I've hated about Harleys my entire life, other than the V-Rod, is these fucking things get hot. And they've never figured out how to get rid of that heat. Now, my Road King doesn't have the heat on this because mostly I'm not laying over the cylinder with my leg. And I think it has something to do with getting these engines tuned and getting them into, UPA compliance because they run fucking hot. That all being said, I know that's all stuff you can change. You change that pipe, that heat will go away. Get rid of that fucking, that catalytic converter, The seat was incredible, and the power was great, and the handling was fucking smoking. So there it is, man. My quick review on the Fat Bob. Would I buy it? Absolutely, I'd buy it. And just get another one next year when something different comes out. It was an incredible riding bike, and it looks kind of road warrior. And it would be cool to see like what Roland Sands or somebody could do with this platform. Roland Sands could take this platform and make a bike that you would drool over. That's the thing. Roland is an artist. Harley is out to make bikes by the millions, make a million bikes. Roland Sands, he'll look at this thing in a full artistic eye and go, oh, I'm going to change this, and this. And then he would have a bike that would be like $100,000 and you would drool over. Anyway, that's my my review, and I do love it. And bottom line is I worship the new motor. So if you don't like this, do what I did. Get a Road King. That's a big FXR, and it handles like an FXR, even better, and it's screaming fast and smooth. I'd ride it across country right now, and the touring bikes by Harley are by far the best touring bikes I've ever rode. They're incredible. There it is, quick little Harley review. Let's get into the episode right real quick. Thanks for the donations on patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. Mark Brunot, you are an absolute saint, man. Thank you for your great donation. Really helped this month. I'm going to New York for a month, and the paper is low. So Mark Brunot. Chad Pollock, always a great supporter of Let There Be Talk. Chad Pollock. Steve McDonald, my man, right there. Matt Morin. Thank you, Matt. And Rodney Hamble. all the way from South Korea. South Korea. Fucking badass, you. Thank you for donations and keeping it going here. Let's get into the episode. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And also, speaking of Harley, don't forget to buy your Harley at El Cajon Harley. Those guys are my sponsor for almost 2 years now, and they've got all these new bikes on the showroom right now. And Greg Riley and I are the two guys that rode. He and I are the guys that rode these new Harleys together. He's my boy at El Cajon Harley. Hit him up. Anyway, we rode him out there in Phoenix, Arizona together last week. Greg Riley, you are the man. Go to El Cajon Harley. Get yourself a brand new motorcycle. Financing is available right now. Also, if you are a small business and or a rock and roll band or a comedian or anything and you need some kind of artwork or stickers or something for Christmas, an original idea, go to catatonic.com, CADITONIC, catatonic.com. Happy birthday to the owner, Corey. Go visit him and get some of your artwork done there. T-shirt designs, toy designs, stickers, flyers, album covers, anything you need. A one-stop art shop. My boy Corey at Catatonic. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Keep the candles lit. Here he is, Mark Norman. Sound check. How are you, Mark?
Good, feeling good. I was a little rough from the Molly. I had that Molly hangover days.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm back, which is a nice feeling.
Is Molly the same as ecstasy?
Yeah, they say it's the new form of it. They say it's pure, more MDMA, because ecstasy was cut with like a lot of meth and whatever the fuck, heroin, I don't know. Viagra.
Yeah, because I took it twice, ecstasy. Took it the first time. Extreme fucking migraine the next day, like I had to go to the hospital.
Really?
Right? Yeah, and I'd never had a migraine in my life. I was in my garage cleaning my bike, like, coming down from the fucking Molly, and the ecstasy. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, God, I got a fucking headache. I was getting these weird little stars and like trails and shit, and I went and laid down. It wouldn't go away for like 18 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. So then I didn't put it together, and then about a month later I took ecstasy again. Same thing the next day. I go, never taking that again.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you feel the ecstasy, though? Like, did it hit you?
Oh, yeah, it was great while I was on it, man.
Yeah.
I was fucking, but the next day it was like, oh, man.
I think that's a good thing, because, your body's saying, like, hey, this is bad,
Totally.
Don't do it. It's like those kids who'd get drunk and yak all over the place. I wasn't a puker. I would just drink more booze, and I hated myself the next day, but they felt great.
Yeah.
It's almost like their body was saying, hey, we're going to help you out here and get this out of you.
Yeah, you still drink?
I drink too much. I cut back in my 30s. But
How old are you?
I'm 34 now.
34. Ooh, grandpa.
Yeah, I know, right? Mid-third, baby. But once I hit like 32, 33, I was like, because I was blacking out twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, I just got to take it easy. And it was, if somebody was like, hey, open bar, I was like, let's do it. It's 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to cut back, and it's amazing what you can get done.
You go on stage drunk?
I used to all the time.
Right.
And it sucks. Everybody's like, what are you going to have a few beers, get loose? It's always worse when you're drinking. Always better to be sober and quick.
I love to be dead sober and be in it, man, feeling everything. There's no better sensory, overload than being on stage sober. You're like, oh, we got to figure this out.
That's so true. I know. Did you ever see that documentary? What's that called? It's a new one. It's about stand-up, and it's real sad. It's kind of a bummer.
Oh, Dying Up Here, Stand-Up Dying or something?
Something like that,
The one where they interview, like, all the Seinfeld and all those guys?
It's Rock's in it, Jeffrey Joseph, Amy Schumer's in for a second. It's black and white. It's a real bummer. I saw it on a plane. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Laughing.
I saw that. Sully McCullers, the producer, one of the producers.
Maybe, I don't know.
Is Gary Shandling in it?
I think he's in it for a second.
Yeah. Oh, and there's that scene where they're at that shitty Sarah Silverman talking about those hotels.
Yes.
Oh, God, that shit is dark.
Dark.
I went to the premiere of that.
Oh, really?
With my neighbor, Sully, who worked with Gary Shanley and as a comedian and wrote on many shows, Tonight Show and everything, was one of the producers on that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a really wild one, right?
Yeah, now I can't remember my point. Shit. What were we talking about?
Oh, drugs.
Drugs, boozing.
Going on booze, yeah.
Shit.
I love it, see?
Oh, you were saying sober, then you
Yeah.
had a fuck me in the ass. What was that shit? God damn it. Shit.
It was just a plug for that film again.
Yeah. God, I got AIDS. What was that? You said the stimulant, and I was thinking fight or flight. Fuck, I lost it. Maybe it'll come back later while I'm shitting. Damn it. Sorry, Dean. I really took that off to the right and
it's all
left
good,
it in the wind.
You were just in Paris. Were you doing comedy there?
No. I was hanging out with my lady friend, and she said, you ever thought about it? Because I work constantly. I'm on stage every night, 4 sets a night, whatever. Every weekend I'm on the road. I haven't missed a weekend since 2017.
Right.
And so she was like, you just had a birthday. Let me buy you a trip. And I was like, all right, baby, yeah. And I talked to my therapist. That's how crazy I am. I was like, what do you think about that? He's like, do it. You need it. You're a piece of shit. You're gay. I was like, all right. So I was like, all right. And we went to Gay Paris. And that was it. It was amazing. We got an Airbnb. It was cheap as hell. We got right in the city. We're right by the Arc de Triomphe. And, I'm tweeting photos and everything. Everybody's like, you got the best life. I'm like, you can just come here. Anybody can go here. It's amazing.
Totally. I always tell people that. They're like, man, you're really doing it. New York and L.A. And I'm like, why aren't you?
Yeah, you can do it too.
I understand. It's a $139 flight, on Virgin or JetBlue. And I'm here.
Exactly. You take a sleeping pill and a shit, and you watch some dumb movie, and you're in Europe.
Which, by the way, I took a shit before I got here. Thank God, because I'm looking at your apartment. I almost didn't make it, man.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna give a shout out. Support all places that have bathrooms. Buy shit there, a public bathroom. Because the ones that don't, just leave, even if you don't have to shit or piss. Because this city is on lockdown.
That's a great boycott.
I believe in that.
It's a shit-cott.
Yeah, it's a shit because, the fucking crazies have shut down the public bathroom.
Sure.
And, so here I am walking to your place. I was coming from 2nd and 10th.
Okay.
So it's about a 2 mile walk almost, which is a beautiful walk, though. I'm walking through all this area that's blowing my mind. Like, I keep seeing areas and I'm like, oh, well, this is great. Walk brownstones and all this. And right there at 10th and University, beautiful. What is going on there?
It's clean. You got the stoops, those brownstones,
it's great, right?
with the big doors. I walk that way all the time, and that's almost like the residential area of New York.
Exactly.
It's pretty. And it's homes. You see kids coming out of there and old people. It's great.
Yeah, because I'm staying out at Fort Greene, and all the streets look like that with the walk-ups. But here it was right in the city. What a dream. Anyway, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, no. I got to shit. And I'm out when I'm in the city, I'm not just going to go all the way back home.
No, you got to figure it out. Starbucks is usually the shit embassy, but
man, that's just crazy. I'll tell you something really gross. And I usually don't get into shit talk, but I was, yesterday, same thing happened to me. I had to piss really bad. Oh, McDonald's, okay. And I go into this McDonald's off Canal Street. Mm-hmm. Someone had shit in the urinal.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Who does that?
Well, when you think about it, it's kind of set up for shitting. You can just bend over and put your ass, it's perfect ass height.
But there's no wipe or anything. You just shit and roll, you know what I mean?
Well, you could probably flush your ass crack almost bidet style.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it. Can you imagine opening the door and a guy's just fucking facing you, just going growler?
Oh, man, that would be something. Like, hey, sir, I don't know if you've ever... It's like almost like an alien came down and doesn't know the shit. He's like trying to be a human.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I guess I'll shit in here.
Anyway, so support the places that have public restrooms. Like, I didn't even need nothing. I just walked into this place over here, and I was like, no, I'm going to buy a coffee because amazing. About 10 years ago, I wanted to do and someone was going to rip this off now, but an app of clean shitters in every city you're at.
Oh, that's called the eye toilet.
Yep, exactly.
Jerry,
Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah, George Costanza came up with that. Or
He did-
Larry David, sorry.
Oh, really? They had that?
Well, he didn't invent it, but he had a whole episode about it.
Oh, on the curb?
So it's never, I don't know if it's ever been made, but
Right.
he had a whole joke about, like, what if George made the eye toilet app?
Oh, mine was like a Zagat guide of clean shitters. You just
Right.
like, oh shit, I'm right here. You know what I mean?
What can I say? That's the beauty. That's the one thing people shit on corporations. Starbucks and Chipotle's are everywhere. But those McDonald's and all that shit, they have regulations, so you can shit in them.
Yeah.
So that's one perk of the corporate, you know.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy anything in there if you don't want.
Yeah,
on the
you just
corporate,
walk
you
in.
go next door to your hipster coffee shop that looks you right in the face and lies to you and says, "Sorry, it's broken."
Exactly.
That's the classic. It's broken.
I know, but the mom and pop, they make their own rules. But these corporate, they have regulations they got to follow.
Yeah.
So
you're in Paris, and where do you get the Molly at? Do you bring it with you?
I actually did a set at Stand Up New York. We did a live Tuesdays with Stories, and we had a bunch of fans come out, and fans give drugs. It's like
Yeah.
the weirdest phenomenon.
They do.
But I'll take it. And this kid, he was all fucked up. He was on Molly at the time.
Yeah.
Young kid from Southern California. He was like, "Man, I love your show. Here's some Molly." And he just handed me a napkin with a rock and it looked like a crystal.
Oh yeah,
And I didn't know Molly was like that, so I was like, "Look at this kid."
I didn't either. I thought it was a tablet.
I thought it was too. And I was like, "This kid's giving me crack. Fuck it." And I just put it in my pocket. And I was like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "It's really strong. Just nibble a chunk off the side. Don't eat the whole thing, and put it under your tongue
Wow.
and let it dissolve."
So
And
you
I was
just
like,
chip
okay.
away at the stone, as Aerosmith would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Drop it under your tongue, and then your lady chips some too.
Oh yeah, and I had some sweet emotions.
Whoa.
But yeah,
So bad.
yeah, me and the lady went to the Louvre, and you know we're not historians or art dicks, so
Yeah.
we said this will help, and we got the headphones in. We took the fucking Molly, nicked it off, forgot all about it. All of a sudden, we're looking at Italian men naked
Yeah.
out of sculptures, and it just hit us, and it was fucking euphoric.
What about some of those paintings in the Louvre? The ones, of course, the Mona Lisa is in there, and as you're walking to go see the Mona Lisa, you're seeing these things that these guys back in the fucking day, like they would paint a wedding,
Yeah.
and it would be like some king's wedding, and the thing would be like 10 times the size of this house.
I got a couple of shots of those. They're
It's-
unreal.
You can't believe, like, it had to take, like, they got married 20 years ago. Here's the painting now. I mean,
Right,
those
right.
things are gargantuan. And then you roll up on the Mona Lisa, and it's like the size of a stamp.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And you start sitting there like, why is this so great? Why is this one better than the other ones?
Yeah.
But, you know, and the Mona Lisa, the fucking giant one had 10 people. The Mona Lisa had 100 people at.
I know, isn't it crazy? Because when I looked at the giant ones, it fucking floored me, actually.
Me too.
Just looking at these things, like, they're full-blown, like, scenes, like a wedding. And you're going, like, every person at the wedding is in this thing.
Yes, and they all have features and details.
I know, and you got to go off memory. There's no, like,
I
photo
know.
of the wedding back then. Like, here, just go, you know?
Yeah, and dude, I had the, what do you got, the
Headphones?
earbuds? Yeah,
Yeah.
the earbuds there they give you there with all the information. And, you know, you pick it's pretty high tech. You pick a number and it puts it in of the painting you're looking at. It tells you the whole story. Each painting you could stay at the Louvre for 6 weeks and not
Yeah.
know it all.
Totally.
But so I did one on the big painting. It was Napoleon Bonaparte's wedding or something like that, and he paid some douche to paint it, and he said, I want it to be huge. It was the biggest painting at the time, supposedly.
Right.
And they kept telling me all the facts that he changed. It was basically like pre-Photoshop. He was
Yeah.
like, look, I know this happened, but paint it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Paint it that way.
Like, hey, I don't want my mother-in-law there. I
Yeah.
know she was there, but I can't stand her. So
Right,
don't
right.
paint her in there and make my fucking nose smaller. You know
Yes.
what?
And make me a little taller. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
we know he's a short guy. Fuck you. I'm paying you. All right, well, give me a bulge, too. The whole thing.
Yeah, man.
And it was pretty wild here, and you're on Molly, so you're just in it. I feel like I was in the fucking Renaissance or something. It
Yeah.
was so cool.
How
But-
long did Molly last?
Well, it only lasted. I think I was so nervous, I nicked off too little.
Yeah.
And so I had this extra Molly in my pocket. But here's the clinker. Whenever I take drugs, Molly, Adderall, Coke, whatever it is, I have to shit horribly like within 20 minutes.
Oh no!
And then once I shit, it kicks in more.
Wow, yeah, like peyote, man. You
Oh,
ever
is that
take
like that?
peyote, you vomit and diarrhea.
Uh-huh.
Some people at the same time.
You purge.
Yeah, or one or the other. I just threw up, and then once you do, there it is. Because before you're like, I don't feel shit. Then you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden the sky's orange.
Uh-huh.
You're fucking hearing the doors in your
Really?
head. Oh, man, that shit is
Wow.
awesome.
Really?
Peyote, man.
Should I do it?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
'Cause I'm
man.
a big shrooms douche.
Oh, I love shrooms.
Well, that's my favorite, number
Me
one.
too. This is like raw form of mescaline. It's a
Okay.
cactus. It's a like a bud. Tastes like fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up a hitchhiker once. He had a duffel bag full. Hitchhiker. That's how
Wow.
long ago it was. I took back when people hitchhiked.
Wow.
And I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going up to Portland. Going up there for some like a festival, and then he had this peyote and took it, and it was unbelievable.
Wow, man,
Yeah.
what a story.
Yeah, you gotta try that, man. I've never seen peyote ever again.
Yeah.
I don't ever hear anybody offering up peyote at like any kind of drug dealers or anything. They don't go like coke, heroin, peyote.
Peyote, that's true,
You're like,
yeah.
am I in the 40s? But
Wow, what was Nam like?
yeah, exactly. Right.
It feels like that story. Like you were
Yeah.
in Nam, you got back, you met a hitchhiker.
I think if I was in Nam as I'm watching this Vietnam documentary, are you watching this?
I'm 2 in. I got to keep going.
Man, how about that Ho Chi Minh?
Oh, dude.
This guy is like,
Funny. How about that Ho Chi Minh? Sounds like a bad stand-up in the 80s.
right. But this guy was like was a warrior.
Yeah. Those dudes were crazy. Those Asians are the toughest guys.
Oh my God. Yeah, and you realize that when he wants to take on France and they don't have enough troops, they invent the guerrilla fighting.
Right.
So the French guys are just rolling in with all their weapons and shit, and then here's a bush that just stabs them.
Yeah.
That whole thing of being bushes and dirt, and that's how they beat everyone.
Yeah.
The Americans, everything.
Yeah, they were.
But if I was there, I'd be
crafty.
definitely on acid and mushrooms.
Yeah. I would be on meth, just up and at them all day long.
Yeah.
Which I think the Germans gave meth to the Nazis.
Well, the German, they say Hitler invented crystal, or his scientist people. You
Oh,
know?
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the word I heard.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so here's the thing. So I'm running around the Louvre now with the headphones on,
Oh, God, shit.
running through priceless sculptures like où est la toilette,
Yeah.
trying to talk to these people, and I'm rolling, I'm on fucking Molly, I'm looking for the toilet, so I'm like, this is amazing, and holding in a shit felt good, but I still had to come out. It was like so many emotions, and like kids are looking at these paintings. It was a wild scene, and I'm running through this beautiful building, and finally I find a shitter. It's closed. There's a woman mopping, and I'm like, let me go. How long? About 10 minutes? What do you think? She
Yeah.
was like, get out of here. I was like, all right. So I had to go underground, find another toilet, and I just shit my brains out. And I was shitting, and I was feeling so good. And the Louvre has Wi-Fi.
Oh,
So I go on my
love
phone,
that.
and now I'm on my phone shitting and
On
looking
Molly.
at Facebook on Molly, and it was
Yeah.
the best time of my life.
Yeah. Right.
I'm in the place with the most beautiful art, and I'm on Facebook, riveting,
Yeah.
loving every minute of it, just rolling my balls off.
Yeah. Like, look at this art on Facebook. Trump sucks.
Yeah. Like, this is beautiful. I'm inspired. So then
Yeah.
I wipe my ass and I go back and see more Louvre, and that I think the Molly was not great because it only lasted like, I don't know, an hour and a half until I started feeling kind of sketchy and cracked out.
Oh yeah.
And I realized later you're supposed to let it sit under your tongue. I just ate it.
Oh, you ate it?
Yeah, so it just went in my fucking gut right away.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
God, man. It's just so. Those are the best stories, though. You're never gonna forget. Like I went to the Picasso Museum in Amsterdam on mushrooms.
Oh shit.
And you're just there's something really wild about being somewhere else and being on drugs while people are doing it. Like here I am on mushrooms while people are going to work at like 8 a.m.
Yes. Yes.
You're just like you feel like a total outlaw. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck the society. I'm on drugs.
Right. You're like Easy Rider.
Yeah, you in your suit. you know?
Right.
So bizarre.
You're in your own head, man. I'm
Now-
living the real world.
You didn't make it to Morrison's grave, huh?
I didn't. We only were there 2.5 days, so we did Eiffel Tower, all the big ones.
Eiffel Tower's
Louvre,
cool.
Catacombs. Eiffel Tower's fucking amazing.
It's so cool.
I mean, it's a piece of art. That's all it is, and you get to climb on it.
It's great, right?
Great, and they light it up at night. We got a beer in the bistro in the Eiffel Tower and walked up and down the stairs and just looked over the city holding a beer. Perfect weather. I got photos of it all. Check my Instagram.
What's the flight? 5 hours?
6.
6.
And change. It's not bad. Direct.
Right.
I flew some shitty air. I flew Norwegian Air, which I'd never heard of.
Right.
And then I flew XL Airways back. XL was horrific.
No, 2 days and then that's it, huh? Fuck, man, you got to go back, right?
I gotta go back, and I fell in love with it. It was one of those cities where I was like, I can't believe this. You're eating breakfast at a cafe, looking out into the city, and you're just like, this is perfect. This city is beautiful.
Yeah.
I found a few flaws with it.
Crazy. People drive like maniacs there, right?
Crazy driving,
Those
yeah.
roundabouts every second. Wow.
I can't believe those work.
I know, right? Like, whose fault? Like, all right, my turn. My turn.
It's all judgment calls. Like, I guess I was here first. Maybe you,
Too many cigarettes there, man.
Oh, dude, they
Whoa.
still smoke.
I actually was eating one of the finest meals, and they smoke right in the restaurant there when I was there in 06 and 04. I've been a couple times. And they would light them like incense. They wouldn't even smoke them. What they do is they take a drag, then they set it down, and they talk for a few minutes while it's just fucking smoldering in the ashtray. And I'm over here eating like a $900 steak,
Right.
And I'm going like, what? Smoke that thing or put it out.
Yeah, see, I don't know. You probably went there in like the Hemingway days. I don't know what year you went, but
04 and 06.
Oh, okay, because I think they've banned it in bars.
Oh, wow.
And cafes by now.
Back then, you could just smoke right in the restaurants,
Oh, that's interesting. That
might have been
sucks.
even 02. I can't remember, because I was working with the Stones, so it was back in the day,
You working the Stones?
No, I was working for the Stones.
What?
Yeah.
What instrument?
No, I didn't play it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit.
From 02 to 06.
Wow, man, you're the real deal.
Yeah, it was a cool gig, man.
What a gig, yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I think I'm almost at about 11
Yeah?
11 years, yeah.
Now, when we got here, you were watching some Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah.
And
I just let YouTube play. I'll put on Louis C.K. and it'll just play a 5-minute clip of him, like Louis C.K.'s most savage moments, and then it'll go over to Burr, then it'll go over to Jim Jeffries, and I just leave it on loop, and I do emails and tweet and shit, and keep that in the background.
Do you run that for inspiration or?
I enjoy it. I watch. All I watch on TV is stand-up comedy, funny clips, social justice warriors being beaten.
Yeah.
Like social justice warrior tries to go against blah 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 and falls on his face. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that, and I love skateboarding. That's all I watch on YouTube and podcasts. I'll just throw on a podcast.
I watch a lot of classic concerts, like Ted Nugent, 78. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
like shows I went to
Wow.
and try to remember them. Like, oh yeah. A lot of the shows I go to, I just remember like the first song and the last, and the middle's just a blur
Sure.
of Survival being a short guy in the front row.
That's kind of nice because
Rad.
I always try, as I've hit my 30s, I know I sound like a douche, but I try to like replay a lot of my life just so I know it. I want to go through the inventory a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
But that's cool that you have these things you can just click on a thing, go, I was there. That's a memory.
It's crazy,
I wish I
man.
could do that at my friend Bob's house party in '88,
Yeah, right. Because, I'm 51 now, and I really feel like I really don't remember long periods of my life.
Yeah, me neither.
They're really blurs.
Totally.
Of especially when you do comedy.
Right.
Every day is the same. It's Groundhog's Day. Like, you get up, you write, you answer emails and stuff.
I disagree.
Right?
I think every day is different. That's the beauty of comedy. Your crowd is different. Your show is different. Your act is different.
I get that, but what I'm saying is my life is the same thing every day of doing comedy. You know what I mean?
I see. Well,
where
all right,
before it would be like, I worked this shitty job, and then I went and then I played music forever, and then I would rehearse. I recorded a record here, I did a record there, but they're all, there's not like snapshots of days. It's just like, that's what I did that one year or whatever. You know what I mean? It's blurry.
Right, totally.
Like, I've been doing comedy 8 years coming up here now in a couple months, and it feels like 4 years to me because it's been great, and just a pshoom goes by.
It goes by, and you're doing something you love, which makes things go by even faster.
Yeah.
You know, when you're sitting in the treadmill, when you're running, you're like, oh, God, this minute's taking forever.
Worst.
But with comedy, it just flies by. My whole day flies by. My night flies by. And that's why I love Instagram, because it's basically a photo album. Sometimes I'll just go back through, and I'm just sitting on the toilet, and I'm
I do that, too. I love Instagram for
I love it.
man.
It's a digital photo album.
Shitstagram.
There you go. All our stuff comes back to shitting. Have you noticed that?
I know. This is a shitcast.
Shitcast.
Fuck.
All right, a poo cast.
Now, you, what are those right there, these boards? Are those
That's
for late night or something?
That's Jimmy Fallon. When you do a late night, they give you the bullet points so you don't forget. Like, so the guy's standing next to the camera holding those cards up.
Oh, for your jokes?
Yeah.
Whoa, I've never seen that. I've been to Conan a bunch of times with my buddies.
Yeah, they hold it up. It's very subtle.
Wow, I've never seen them holding up jokes, man.
I always ask to keep them because they're each one of those sets was a lot of work.
I see a lot of people where they keep the cue cards that have when the guy announces your name. Oh, yeah, there they are.
Yeah, I got those too.
Yeah, that's rad, man.
I've spent a lot of my money on framing.
Now, which one's your first? No, we're in his apartment here, and he's got these cool things framed and hanging on the wall. Which one's the first late night set?
That one right there in the middle with the asterisk on, the pound sign on the bottom.
Right.
Drunk.
And who's that for?
That's for Conan in 2013, February 20th.
Wow. Now, run me the gay bar joke.
That was went to a gay bar. Basically, the joke is a gay guy hit on me, which then I go into this whole thing like, how do you hate gays? Like, I love getting hit on. Women don't hit on me. This guy finally hit on me. What a great feeling. And then the big joke was some guy goes, I don't know what I would do if some gay guy ever hit on me. And the punchline was, how about you just not fuck him? That's all you got to do. And that was all. I said, how about you just not have sex with him?
Yeah.
Sounds horrible. I got an applause break. And at the moment, you could watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Conan, first one. And I was so nervous. My butt muscles were spasming.
Wow.
Because I was so nervous and trying to hold it together. And this was my big break. Like, I had done a John Oliver, which is like a little 5-minute set you do.
Right.
But that was kind of like an Adam Devine at the time. It was just like a thing. This was like my first late night, just me up there. And I was freaking out. And I ran the set a million times. And I was so nervous, and it went well, and I noticed it was going well in the middle of it, and I was like, hold on to this, baby. This is it. You might have nothing after this.
Right.
Ride the wave, fight, chase the dragon, motherfucker. And I felt like I was floating. It was amazing. And then after I got off and Conan did it was great, and the producer was like, that was amazing. You nailed it. And he's given me a set every year since.
Now... Was your first one, was that when Conan was in New York or L.A.?
That was L.A.
L.A.
Yeah. They put you up in the Hilton in Studio City. It's a whole experience. They pick you up in a car. It was all new to me. It was crazy.
Yeah. I've been there so many times that if I ever did it, I'd be like, I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to sit in this massage chair for about 30 minutes and get my neck massaged here, and then you'll come get me for a sound check. I'll walk out to the mark, come back in, and then just hang out, and then we'll roll.
There you go. Yeah, I got there like 8 hours early. Yeah. I ate 38 cookies and 15 Cokes.
It's crazy how far away the audience is.
Yeah, they're pretty far.
Yeah, they are. And it's like arena seating, way the hell up there. Mm-hmm. And, could you feel the laughs?
Yeah. And I got so cocky in the middle of it, I did some crowd work.
Really?
Well, I just said, any Puerto Ricans here, and this whole section went, woo! And I went, whoa, too many. And that got a big laugh.
Wow.
And so it was just magic, man. One of those things where, like, you couldn't have made it any better. And I've had a million just horrible times in comedy, and that was one of the magical moments. And every set I've done since has never felt like that magic. Kind of like the first time you do X.
Yeah.
It's never that same euphoria.
I love those magic sets. Like, I remember, like, I performed for Dr. Dre about a month ago.
What?
He happened to be at the Comedy Store.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know at the time, and I walked on, and I had this incredible set, and then they're like, "Man, you crushed it. Dr. Dre's out there." I was like, "Oh, what?" Like,
Wow.
because I had done a movie with Cube, and I grew up with NWA and loved it. Now I'm going to meet Dre.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We take a photo. He's like, "Man, you were incredible." You know, and I was like,
wow.
wow. That's the kind of thing where I don't want him to ever see me again.
Yeah, of course.
Because no matter how good you are, it's not going to live up to that first time he saw you, you know?
I mean, if he sees you, he's going to be like, that's that guy who killed. He's funny. Like,
right.
Just live in that. That's it. That's enough.
And maybe if he produces some movie, he'll be like, let's get that guy. But if they see it again, the magic's gone.
It's gone.
Even if it's totally different jokes, it's like the first time you do drugs. You're like, man, I was high as fuck.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And it's so hard to recreate those moments, but you get them every now and then. And it's special for comedians because I feel like in the entertainment world, we're very normal guys. We're insecure. We're douches, we're idiots, we're dumb, we're fat, we're gay, whatever you want to say. But like Dr. Dre, I feel like a guy like that, he's like a mogul. He's like a legend.
Billionaire.
He sees himself as like bigger than life.
Right.
But we're just like, hey, we tell jokes. We don't want to be in the way. We're annoying.
Yeah.
And so to kill in front of him, it puts you on the same level for like half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, there's a moment where he comes up to you and goes, that was amazing.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And then I'm seeing him, and I'm just hearing the Chronic in my head. And I'm thinking about how many times I love that record.
Yes.
And I love the NWA movie and NWA, and I worked with, Cube, and I thought, that was fucking incredible to do a movie with Cube, but to actually do live comedy and a guy out there goes, hey, where's that guy in the red flannel?
Yeah.
And then you're going like, oh, man, hey, he was asking where you were, and he comes out, takes a picture, talks to me, and I'm
That's
like,
amazing.
oh, fuck. I mean, it's not like a late night set, but to me, it's like having one of your idols out there.
That's a different kind of special.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're on a level where you're on Cube level. You throw out the ice.
Yeah.
You just call him Cube?
Yeah, Cube.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
I actually I didn't even know his real name until I did a movie with him, and then he was staying under his real name, and I was like, who's that? And he's like, that's me, man. I was like, oh, all right.
Wow, you guys were chatting and hanging out?
I did a movie with him for 2 months.
I mean, you can do a movie with Robert Redford. Doesn't mean you're talking to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when you're in Shreveport, there's nothing to do. You're like, all right, let's the five of us go eat, or something, or hang out. I threw the football with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's the cannon on Cube?
The Cube can throw the ball.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. He grew up in the streets.
That's how I started comedy, man. I was on that movie. Mm-hmm. And Earthquake was in the movie. Mm-hmm. Michael Collier and Garrett Morris.
Wow.
And over the time, I was like, man, I always wanted to start comedy. And they were just like, yeah, get out of here, man. But by the end of the film, Earthquake gave me some pointers, and boom, I hit the ground running.
What?
Yeah, that was like 8 years ago.
You'd never know by looking at you that Earthquake was your guy.
I know, right?
So wait, what was Earthquake's advice?
It was amazing. He said,
I love advice.
Here's really, I think, how he knew I might be able to do comedy, because I was like 44 at the time.
Yeah.
We would get the script, and then it's a football movie, and we sit in bleachers, and then we would riff. Like there was some bullet points on the script, but it would be like, it's people playing football and be like, looks like he got it in the nuts. Just dumb, stock jokes. And then we would riff on it, and riff and riff and riff. And then they would chop it down into great stuff, And then after a while, I started getting more and more scenes. It was cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I would think back to my old Three Stooges days and stuff, do like wacky kind of physical stuff on the film. And then I think once he saw that, he was like, yeah, man, you might be able to do this. All right, here's what you got to do. You got to go home. When you get home, Google open mics, find them, and go and immediately start getting on stage and write. And I was like, well, how do you write? I just didn't understand that, because I wrote music all my life. I wrote lyrics and stuff, but what do you do? And at the time, I thought that you did something new every show.
Sure, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so like once I started watching comedy, I go, I'm not going to be like these guys. I'm going to do new shit every night. And then realize you go, wait, this is my gold over here. I can do new shit every night. I'll eat it, but I got to have the gold.
Right.
But I went home and I hit the open mics and I never stopped. I did like 285 the first year, and then I went to like 490 and then 580.
Oh, nice.
But after a year, he said, if you do it, I do a show every Wednesday at the Comedy Union. Come by and see me, and I'll throw you on.
Boy,
and
what a guy.
I waited like a year, and I showed up one day, and I said, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it. And he's like, oh, I didn't think you were really going to do it. I would have gave you some real advice, you know? But he did give me real advice, and he put me on, and we became friends. I haven't seen him in a couple years because he moved here to do radio or something. He had a radio show. Yeah. But that was it. How'd you start?
I don't know. I always feel bad. Do you think the listeners give a shit?
Yeah.
About comedy as much as we do?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I always, I'm a big comedy nerd, so I always get nervous.
Well, here's the thing. It's rare I have a comic on.
Oh, okay.
So it's really cool to get into that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people will be like, yeah, how did you get into it? Because, you've done, 3 late nights? You tour with Amy Schumer. Where did you start?
So I'm from New Orleans, born and raised.
Really?
But, yeah.
Did you know Sean Patton?
Of course, he was like my first comedy guy to look up to.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like the funny guy who was around, who knew what he was doing. We all just looked to him.
Wow, no shit, huh?
Yeah, he was the guy like, please like me.
He's great, right?
Oh, he's killer. He's one of the best comics, and I don't feel like he gets his due.
I don't think so either.
How funny he is, and how original he is, and how weird he is, and
I think to me, it feels like he's one of the best I've ever seen, but he also feels like a ghost. Like, I never see him. He comes and goes.
Right.
Is he on social media much? Or
Right,
like
yeah.
I don't ever, like, I see him, like, when I come to New York, he'll be at the
That's a good
stand.
point. He's a fat ghost.
Yeah, a fat guy.
Yeah,
but
he is.
I don't see him,
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
like, he came to my house in L.A. to do the podcast, and he goes, yeah, I'm living here right now. I never see him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even at your house, you didn't see him.
Yeah, not at
That's
all.
crazy.
It was like a ghost did the pod.
He is a ghost, yeah, but he farts a lot, too. So he's around.
Yeah.
You can sense him, but he's a big drunk, big fat guy who wants to do comedy, and he's bi-coastal. He's in Edinburgh, he's in Australia, he's in L.A., he's all over the road, but I feel like he needs a special. He's the guy, but I think Comedy Central, they're such pussies. They were like, we don't know what to make of him. What kind of comic is he? We don't know what box to put him in. Like, that's the beauty. There is no box.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're worried about, like, well, is he good looking?
Right. Is he marketable?
What race is he?
Right, exactly.
It's just
pussies.
fucking stupid, man. I mean,
I
it's
know.
like that's what killed MTV. That's what killed MTV.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
were
you
just
try to
more
regiment
worried
it.
about, instead of just putting on what's good,
Right.
they're like, we had a think group last week.
A bunch of guys in suits got together about what teenagers want to hear.
Think group, Coca-Cola said this is a great song.
Right.
And they're going to be advertising. So the Think group likes this band. And you're like, what?
I know. It's so true. And then Netflix puts it on, and the Comedy Central goes, God damn it.
Yeah.
They get everything.
Yeah.
You could have had a chance.
Yeah.
That being said.
You started it.
Right. That being said, check out my special on Comedy Central. 1 hour special. It's on the on demand or whatever. It's free.
Yeah.
So give that a gander, will
Nobody
ya?
saw it,
Not a single person
You worked
saw
your
it.
ass off for it.
Years I busted my ass. Changing one word, changing a comma here and a contraction there and a segue there. I worked every inch of that set is worked out. And
Who
no one
were
saw
your
it.
guys?
Starting out?
Yeah, Seinfeld, guys like that.
Well, when I started, I told my mom when I was like 8, I was like, I really like comedy. And she goes, oh, you like comedy? I know what to do. And she gave me a stack of tapes, Marx Brothers movies.
Wow.
I was like, what? What the hell? It's all black and white.
Harpo.
Harpo. I mean,
I loved him. He was a master.
They were all masters. I mean, Groucho was my hero. He's still like my biggest influence, I think.
So Groucho Marx.
Groucho was big, baby. Changed everything. I mean, the cigar, the mannerisms, the lines, the jokes.
What age was that?
8, 9, 10, 11.
Right. You
You
knew
know.
you wanted to be a comic then?
I just knew I liked comedy. I liked comedy and skateboarding and pro wrestling. I mean, I was a kid.
Right.
Baseball, whatever. So, but that was a big thing because I was just like, all right, I guess I'll watch this. It's pre-internet, so you're like, oh, she put some tapes here, I'll watch them.
Yep.
But that was cool, and I really fell in love with Groucho. And then, The Simpsons. Then Seinfeld came out, the TV show, and that, like, blew my mind because I was like, oh, this is comedy for me.
Right.
It's like minutia. It's anxiety, it's neuroses. That was my cup of jizz.
Yeah, and each character was funny as hell.
I know. And
even the side characters would steal the
yes,
episodes.
Newman. All great. It's true. Like Friends, I never really got into it. You just watch it because it was on.
I never watched that.
It sucks.
It was
it's
just
a
all
shitty
like
show.
yuppie people would watch it. We're having a friends party
Yes.
on Thursday. I go, I'm going out and fucking doing drugs and watching Iron Maiden. I'm not sitting home, but I would watch Seinfeld.
I mean,
My
it's the
mom would
best.
tape it, and I'd go to her house and eat what's in her fridge and watch it on like Sundays.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was glorious, and it was so good that my whole family liked it. We could
Oh.
watch it together, which is rare.
Yeah.
My dad hated The Simpsons, even though Simpsons is like a masterpiece.
Simpsons is so great. Still on.
Still on.
What the fuck, dude?
It's so weird. It's like comforting. It's like it feels like home. You put it on, even though it's not as good now. You put it on, you're like, oh wow, I feel like I'm in America.
I love it, man. I love that King of the Hill.
Oh, I never got into King of the Hill.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it felt too hicky. I don't know. I'm not a big like hick
That's
thing.
I loved it because it felt like they were just ripping on white trash.
Maybe that's why I didn't like it. I was like, I'm not a hick. I don't need this.
No, but that's the point of it.
I
is,
know,
like,
I know.
It makes him look so ridiculous.
I think I missed the joke.
Oh my God.
But I loved Office Space and what was the other
Oh,
one?
that's great. We're gonna have to move your desk.
Oh yeah, Office Space was amazing. But the jokes in Seinfeld, like the premise of the episode would be, this guy wants to hang out with me, but I don't want to hang out with him, like some random guy.
Great shit.
And that was the best. I was
Yeah.
like, I've lived that. This is perfect.
I love the BO in the car.
Oh, the
Oh,
BO.
the valet had
the valet,
BO.
yeah.
And then the pirate shirt is the all-time fucking classic
the
soft
puffy
talker.
shirt. Look at that. Look at that poster right there. That's Seinfeld. You see?
Yeah,
I got it
yeah.
all. I got it all on my wall, baby.
Wow, you do. That's rad. It's like it's a drawing of the hairdo. It's amazing.
Yeah, no faces.
Wow.
Just their hair, silhouette. But yeah, so then I remember when Jerry finished the show, Jerry Seinfeld said, I'm doing my stand-up set after the show, and it came on HBO. It's called I'm Telling You for the Last Time.
Yeah.
And my whole family watched it, and I was like, look at this, because my parents didn't give a shit about me. They were like, I mean, they were nice people. They fed me. But there was no, there wasn't a lot of hugging and,
Right.
like, what do you think, Mark? It was, anytime I tried to talk to my dad, he would just point to the TV, like, hey, asshole, I had a hard day.
Whoa.
Get off me.
That thing.
So, but comedy, if I said a funny joke, they would get involved and they would like it. So that was kind of a way in, I think.
I saw Seinfeld on the comedian, at the very end when he walks out on stage.
Yeah.
That's at the Paramount in Oakland.
Wait a minute.
So at the end of I'm telling these jokes for the last time.
Yeah.
He walks out on stage, a big stage.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a rear camera shot. You don't see any set or anything.
Yeah.
That's at the Paramount. I was at that show.
What?
Yeah. So
Holy shit.
I was thinking, oh fuck, man, he's taping this for a special, but he wasn't. He was just taped that one walkout. Mario Joyner opened,
Wow.
and 3-4 years ago, I did that same theater.
Hell, look at that.
Yeah,
Boy,
man.
you worked quick.
Well, I was opening for someone, but still, it was
Theaters.
like, oh my god, I'm at the theater where I saw Chris Rock and Seinfeld,
Wow.
Paramount in Oakland.
Yeah, holy shit. That's so cool.
When do you do your first set?
Well, so yeah, I'm living in New Orleans, and Chris Rock came out. I was like, oh, my head blew off. And I was
Right.
like, this is unbelievable. And I didn't know you could do comedy like that. And I was always a huge Carlin fan. And so I was living in Baton Rouge, going to Louisiana State University, LSU. I already failed out of UNO for being an alcoholic.
Wow.
So I went to LSU, and I was working as a busboy in a Mexican restaurant, and I was like, I hated the job, so I would just crack up, crack wise the whole time and fuck around and do impressions of the manager and all that shit. And I was the funny guy at work. And there was another guy at work who was in the comedy. He said, I'm going to do a set. You got to do it with me. His name was Ryan. And I was, in your head, I'm like, who am I? What am I, fucking Bill Cosby? I can't do a set. I'm just fucking around at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I have no confidence. I'm an alcoholic, whatever. So he's like, come on, just do it. I'm like, I can't. And he asked me like 20 times over the course of a year, and I finally said, yes, I'll go. I would go to open mics, sign up, and leave.
Really?
I was such a wuss. I was too scared.
Did you have anything written down?
Oh, yeah, I had ideas.
Really?
But I would sign up, and I would watch. I'd buy a beer, and I was the guy at the open mic watching. When a comic's like, hey, there's somebody, we got an audience member. That was me.
Yeah,
I was
hilarious.
the idiot. And I loved it. I watched everything, and I took notes and made points in my head. Like, all right, that's how you do that? Okay, all right. And then I went to a comedy club 3 hours away in Lafayette. It was actually a bar that had a comedy night, and the host was a
Indiana?
real duke. Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh,
And I drove the 3 hours. I was drinking on the way there, and took a few friends with me. I got fucking shit-faced on martinis. I don't know why. And I had a whole bit because I was fucking this hot chick who was a soccer player. She gave me a yeast infection.
Whoa.
So I did a whole bit on yeast infections.
Piss.
Yes.
Split piss.
Split piss. Exactly. It's a great metal band, by the way. And did a set, and it went pretty well. I went too long, and I got the light, and I didn't know what the light was.
Yeah.
So then, you get the light, and I just kept going. And then he's like, get off stage. He's giving me, like, the get off. I was like, what is this guy doing? Eventually, they turned the music on, and he's at the side of the stage going, get the fuck off. I'd done, like, 12 minutes. It was doing 4.
Yeah.
And,
4.
So I finally got off, and I was, kind of in a blackout. We drove home, and I was just elated. I was like, this is it. I have some. Because I was a rudderless douche. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so that was it. And I drove back to 3 hours, and you got that high. You still get a high off a good set, but I was like high for 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're high for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But, and that was it. I was like, Googling, this pre-Google, I was Yellow Pages, Comedy Club, what do you got? Talking to people. Then you start finding clubs all over the state, and boom.
And then you've been doing it ever since.
Since.
When do you move to New York?
Well, I met Sean Patton at a show, and he was kind of like, all right, this is what you got to do. I'm moving to New York. You should come with me. And he moved, and about 6 months later, I moved right after him.
You move in with him?
No, he had a whole thing set up.
Where do you land?
He landed in, I think, Bushwick, and I was in Crown Heights.
Crown Heights.
Brooklyn, baby, way out. Me and this guy, Zach Sims. It was $400 a month each.
Whoa.
We had a 1-bedroom. I lived in the bedroom. He lived in the living room, and he paid $350, and I paid $450. That was the setup.
Right.
And it was horrible. I mean, landlord died of AIDS.
Whoa.
I got mugged 3 times in a year.
Really?
And I got bed bugs.
How do they mug you? Like gun?
Well, no, never by gun. Once I got jumped by, it's a whole thing. I'll give you each one. All right, so Crown Heights, just to give you a piece of information, it's a big neighborhood, and it's split in the middle by a highway, and on one side is all Hasidic Jew, and one side is all Caribbean black. I lived on the black side, so there was always a lot of tension going home, like, you're on the wrong side, motherfucker.
Whoa.
Like that, and you're just like,
really?
Keep your head down and keep moving. Yeah, a lot of that. One time I was walking past a guy.
What year is that?
This is 07.
07?
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
One time I was walking by a guy pissing really late at night drunk.
Yeah.
And I walked by and he goes, you want to take a look? Because my dick will always be bigger than yours, motherfucker. And I was like, noted. I just kept walking.
Whoa.
Yeah. There was always a lot of tension, like you're an inch away from an ass beating kind of thing.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, I used to deliver my rent to this guy. First time I went, I got lost on the Jewish side. And I saw a guy coming out of his house. I'm like, oh, this guy lives here. I'll ask him. I go, hey, man, which way is 14th Street? And he looks me up and down. He goes, I don't know. And he keeps walking. I go a half a block. I hit 14th Street. It's like, that motherfucker.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Just straight up crazy times.
Crazy times. But that was New York. It was the city felt like it was trying to spit me out,
Yeah.
That plus bombing every night and being poor. And, the whole thing was...
Are you working a job?
Yeah, of course. I worked at New York Film Academy. I was the file clerk, and they just put me in a room from 9 to 6:30 where I would file shit with like a little ladder, and I'd climb up the file cabinet.
Right.
No windows, no nothing.
Oh, my God.
Brutal. No headphones, just filing all day, and I begged for a different job, so they made me the registrar, which was way worse.
Oh, my God.
Registrar is the guy who keeps track of the attendance that kids make. So if you have hit a certain number of absences, you got to get kicked out.
Yeah.
So I was kicking kids out of film school. It was giving me ulcers. I was so stressed out because they were just like, I flew here from Prague. My dream is to be a director. I saved all my money to come down. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. That's the rule. They're kicking you out. It's not me. It's them. And they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to live my dream. I'm kicking these people out of their dream. It was brutal.
Oh, my God.
I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. That's just the rules. I don't care. No one else wanted to do the job, so they gave it to me, and I eventually quit. I couldn't do it.
God damn.
Brutal gig.
God, that's the worst.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making $9 an hour or whatever.
Yeah. And it was some poor kid who just got lost on the train and stuff every day. Like, it wasn't...
Yeah.
He wanted to come to film school. Oh, it was brutal.
So how do you get robbed?
So it was 3 different times. Once I was on the train, on the L train, and I was such a drunk, I kept falling asleep on the train.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I'd wake up on the last stop in Canarsie, which was way out.
Yeah.
And I remember I woke up, and in a haze, and I look down, I see a guy kneeling next to me with his hands in my pocket.
Yeah.
Both hands, both pockets. Like, this guy was going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, shit, what the fuck? So I just pop up, and I go, whoa, what the fuck you doing? Jesus Christ. And I remember I stood up, and I fell back down. That's how drunk I was.
Yeah.
And the guy kind of smirked and goes, don't worry, the train will turn right back around. He stepped off the train, the doors closed, and the train started moving. It was like very, it was like gentlemanly.
Wow.
It was very elegant. He nailed it.
I need this. You're all good.
Yeah.
What crazy.
And I checked my pockets. He had got my wallet, my phone, my keys, and my joke book.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he just took everything. And wasn't even nervous about it because I was such a drunk mess. That was one. One time, this is the craziest one. It's like 5 a.m. I fell asleep on the train. I woke up in time, but I'd gone like 3 stops past mine.
Yeah.
So I'm even further in Brooklyn, but I was like, fuck it, it's 3 stops, I'll walk it. I'm not going to get out and wait for the other train. So I just start walking, and I got my headphones in, which is a big mistake.
Totally.
White, the white earbuds.
Yeah, because they can walk right up on you.
Exactly. And it looks like I have like an iPhone.
Yep.
So I'm walking down, and I see these 5 guys in the corner, like big thug guys, shooting dice, classic scene out of a movie, and I'm drunk, and I'm like, I'm just going to cross the street, go on the other side, and mind my own business.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking down, this older guy's coming toward, probably 60, 65, and right when he gets up, he's got a white beard, big guy, and he goes, give me that radio. And I was so drunk that at the time I said, it's not a radio. That's where my head was at. Like, like that'll move him along. That's what my drunk mind thought.
You dumbass.
Yeah.
This is $1,000 iPhone.
Right. I thought he'd go, oh, sorry, I thought it was a radio. Carry on, good sir.
Yeah, I don't need no phone.
Yeah. So he just starts pulling at the cord. And I think he was on something too. He was clearly like a little woozy.
Right.
And I saw him pulling back. And now we're just standing there pulling it, and he just picks me up on my shirt and starts slamming me against, when a business closes, that metal gate goes down?
Oh, yeah.
Slamming me, just pow, and I'm punching him in the face, I'm kicking, my feet are dangling.
Yeah.
Big guy. I'm only like 5'11" or whatever. And he's just slamming me against this thing, and he won't budge. I think it was a PCP, something was going on.
Right.
And I'm just like, pow, pow, this door or this gate is slamming, and these 5 guys take notice of this and run over, pull him off me, and just beat the shit out of the guy.
Whoa.
I mean, they all just start wailing, kicking him in the face. He's on the floor. They're just stomping on him. My iPod hits the ground. I grab it, and I go, thank you, and I just run off.
Whoa.
I ran home. My friend was looking at he was like on his laptop, my roommate, and I was like, you're not going to believe this. And he was like, what are you going to do? And that was it.
Unbelievable.
So I guess that wouldn't count as a mugging, but
you kept it.
I got accosted.
Yeah.
But that was a real eye-opener. I was like, holy shit. And it helped to be drunk in all these moments because you're not as like, I could have died just then.
Yeah, right.
And then the third time was I got drunk at a bar called Rudy's. I don't know if you know it. It's in Hell's Kitchen. It's a great old just dive bar. They give you free hot dogs with every beer.
Yeah.
And I got way too drunk, ate way too many hot dogs. They kicked me out. I was like the drunk guy who kept falling off the stool, like, you got to go, buddy. And I was bouncing off walls on 8th Avenue or 9th Avenue. And I just see like an alcove, like a couple steps went down into a doorway, and it looked kind of comfortable and warm.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm going to sit down in there for a minute, get off the sidewalk. And, of course, I fell asleep in this alcove. I wake up a couple hours later. About 3 guys are kind of going through my shit. And I'm like, not again.
Yeah.
So I just get up and I go, hey, what the fuck? Get away from me. And one of them just goes, shit, he's waking up, and hits me, and I've knocked out again.
Oh, my God.
He just knocked me out completely.
Wow.
Yeah. Completely knocked me out, and I went down and woke up, and all my shit was gone again.
God damn, man. New York comedy stories.
Yeah, right?
And now you're a goddamn fucking homeowner.
Yeah, I'm a homo.
You think back to that, man, and just now here we are in your apartment.
Yeah. You just got to stick with it and keep going, and you got to use those times like either they can push you out or make you grow.
Right.
And I just used them, made bits out of it, and kept going. And
how do you? I wanted to ask you this, and because you're like one of the only guys I know that owns something here in the city.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys could own, they just don't want to bite the bullet because buying an apartment is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, right.
Nightmare. It was like an 8-month process. It was brutal.
How did it go down? First of all, it's got to be a fortune, right?
It's a fortune. This tiny shoebox.
Yeah, his place is like, what do you think? 300 square feet?
It's 400 square feet.
Right.
But the bathroom is a closet.
It's a box.
It's a box with a what do you call those kind of doors?
Sliding like blinders.
Yeah.
Not even a real door.
Yeah, there's dressing rooms in Macy's with a better door.
Way bigger.
And yeah, that's the one closet, tiny.
One closet in the whole place?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, the bedroom's pretty small too. The bed basically takes up the whole bedroom.
And basically,
the
it's
ceilings
not
are
a
low.
kitchen. It's just
No.
a kitchenette.
It's a counter with a fridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a glorified kind of studio, even though it has a separate room.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to say what you paid for it, but like, what is something like in this? Because you're in a great neighborhood.
The neighborhood's everything.
That's what matters.
Yeah, this is about 600 thou.
600
Yeah.
thou. And now, is it a co-op or you?
Co-op.
Oh,
I'd have a building meeting to get in the building.
wow.
And that was hell because basically these older rich guys sat me down and were like, you seem like a nice guy, but this comedy thing, you're an entertainer. Can this sustain? The rent is high. You know, we're all doctors and lawyers and whatever. Like, and I was like, hey, look, I'm doing Madison Square Garden next week. I got a Conan coming up in a month, and I just laid out my resume, and I sounded like a huge cocky douche.
Yeah.
But it won them over, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well that sounds pretty good."
Now they're it's so weird because I never heard about any of this co-op till I got to New York.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you own it, but you don't own it.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, I mean, I'm paying a mortgage,
Right.
So I think I will own it eventually, but you can't rent it out for like 2 years. You
Can't Airbnb.
Can't Airbnb for 5 years. They have all these rules, so eventually you do own it, but it takes a while. They basically want to be like, you care about the place enough to rent it.
Right.
Otherwise, I could just pay the mortgage and rent it tomorrow.
Right.
So I think that's what it means, or something.
And
The
what it
city
is
owns
they
it.
don't want people in the building they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like they don't want all of a sudden it just turned into a bunch of renters and shit.
But nobody wants to admit it, but that's probably why the neighborhood's so good.
Right.
That's part of why the upkeep is there and there's no litter, because you're like, hey, it's hard to get in, and they pick the right people and blah, blah, blah.
Now, how long did it take you to find a place and then to buy it? Took 8 months, but were you looking at a bunch of shit?
I was looking at a ton of shit. I lived right by the Cellar, actually. I lived on Carmine.
Right.
And I had a tiny apartment. I was paying a ton in rent. Like
How much?
I was paying like $1,800 in rent for a tiny room, but the location was insane.
Just a room?
Just a room with a roommate.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a one bedroom, but I was living in like the office.
Whoa.
And it was crazy expensive, and tiny bathroom, and we had mice and all this shit. And the train was right there.
1,800 roommate.
1,800 with a roommate and mice.
Wow.
Brutal. So I just said, I'm going to talk to a realtor. I Googled some shit. I said, hey, I called a lady. I was like, I just want to look at some places. What do you know? What do you got? Nothing written in stone, blah, blah, blah. She's like, all right, great. So we go out. She's like, here's what I want. I want to pay this much. I want a separate room. I don't want a studio. And we looked at like 3 places all over the village. And she was like, I got to be honest with you. It's not going to happen.
Right.
What you want for this money is not going to happen in New York right now. And I was like, I think it'll happen because I've seen it before. I swear to God, a friend of mine lives at a place like, she's like, I don't know who your friend is, but that's bullshit. And he's got a deal going or whatever. And I'm like, well, let's just look at a couple more and then we'll be on our way.
Yeah.
And she was like a new, she just started and she really was gung-ho. I think if I had another, it all was kismet. If I had another old guy, he'd be like, you're wasting my time, kid. Get out of here.
Right.
So we keep looking around, and she goes, well, I found one place, but it's for sale, so you probably don't want to look at it. And I was like, well, let me just take a look, see what a for sale's like. And again, it had that open mic thing where I'm like, who am I? I can't buy shit.
Right.
I'm not a homeowner. I'm a piece of shit. So we go in there, and I was like, and then she's like, when you really break it down, the mortgage would be about what you're asking for to rent. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. So I said, fuck it, put an offer in. And that was it. And
At this place here?
that was, this was the place.
But you got to have the down payment.
Luckily, I'd just done the special, so that was like $100-something grand.
Right.
I was opening for Schumer for a year at an arena tour.
Wow.
And she was paying me like $3,000 a show.
Whoa.
We would do like 3 a weekend.
Whoa.
So then I was doing spots in the city and
That's
blah, blah.
incredible.
And I'm so cheap and insecure and low self-esteem that I didn't spend any of it. I just sat on it. So I just had piles of cash. I had probably $500,000 sitting around.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I still dressed like an idiot. I never spent it. I had nothing
You
to
could
spend
have
it
almost
on.
bought it for cash.
I could have, yeah.
Wow.
But they don't trust you, and they're like, "Where's all this cash coming from?" And they want to know if you have cash coming in the next years.
Right.
And that's the hard thing to prove.
That's the hard thing to prove.
So I did a lot of lying and just said, "Hey, I'm working here, I'm working there," and I had to show them my schedule and had to get my agent involved. Be like, "No, he is working here," and I had to get a money guy and a mortgage lawyer, and it was just such a mess.
Oh my God.
And then I owned the place, and they wouldn't let me move in because they had to like do some shit. So I I moved out of my apartment, and he already got a new roommate because he didn't want to pay the rent. So I
Right.
was just living on couches for like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, that was hell.
What would they have to do to it?
I can't remember. It was some legal thing. Like, the building has to approve it, and the super has to come in and change some shit and fix stuff, and they have to redo the shower, and you just can't be living here while that's happening.
Unbelievable. And you're paying note on it?
Paying everything.
What, the 3 months you're not living in it,
Yeah,
you're paying?
yeah. It was reduced, but yeah, I was paying it. And eventually, I broke down. I called the realtor. I was like, I've used all my friends. And she was like, all right, you can come stay with me.
Whoa, the realtor?
Yeah, so I stayed with the realtor.
Whoa.
She had this crazy place on the Upper West Side. It was beautiful. I stayed with her kids. I had breakfast with her children and shit. It was wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. New York, you just got to make it work. You got to adapt and figure it out. That's what this city's all about.
I believe that because, people keep just telling me, like, yeah, dude, just, it's not going to happen unless you go live out in Astoria or whatever. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't believe that.
Yes, you can make it
Because
work.
The way I look at it is like, first of all, you don't understand my drive.
Yeah.
I'm 51 doing comedy, opening for the biggest comics in the world. You think I can't find an apartment in the city?
I envy that about you, man. It's a rare quality.
I'm going to find one.
You will find
and you
one.
know how you find them? You keep putting the word out on the
Yep.
podcast. You
Yep.
do radio. You talk to friends at shows. You talk to fans that come out. Hey, great, dude, I'm looking for a place. If you hear of any, you keep fucking putting it out there.
Keep hounding.
And then one day a guy goes, dude, my uncle, he's got this building. The
Yeah.
guy just moved out. It's only $1,600. You got it.
There you go. It
Yeah.
happens.
It
can
does.
happen. Because how many apartments have you walked into and they go, you're not going to believe how I got this? Holy
Exactly.
shit. My aunt died and fell in a hole, and then somebody, gave me her keys, and hey, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Now, do you sweat it? Now that you're in, you're like, oh my God, I got to keep working.
Yeah. I love this apartment so much because I pay for it with my own blood, sweat, and jizz.
Yeah.
The mortgage is so high that I'm like, I got to keep working.
What is the mortgage?
I'm
just curious because I'm trying to figure out versus rent.
Right. Well, let's see. It's in the ballpark of 3.
Oh, well, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Because I've been to people's apartments while I'm here, and it's $3,500 for
What?
rent.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that makes me feel better, especially
Yeah.
because I'm owning it.
My buddy's renting over in Alphabet City. It's $3,400.
Oh, he's getting ripped.
Well, I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
like, so man, that's the good way to go.
Yeah, all right. Well, that makes me feel better. But yeah, I gotta haul
And you're in a
ass.
great street.
Great street. I got the train right here. There's a million restaurants, bars.
Now how far? How close is? What is this neighborhood called?
This is called the West Village or Greenwich Village.
Okay. Oh, so you're close to the Cellar.
Cellar, the Village Underground, all that shit, and right by the 1 train. I'm on 7th Avenue and Christopher, basically.
Right.
So I'm right by the duplex. There's tons of shit around here.
That's rad, man.
Very rad. I got the river right there. I can do that shit if I want.
Are you still opening for Amy?
Well, she's doing a movie right now.
Yeah, Rory's in it. Rory's
in
Scovel.
it, yeah.
Awesome. I saw both of them at the Cellar on Tuesday night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we hung out with Rory. I hadn't seen him in about a month.
He's the coolest.
Oh, yeah, I love him, man.
Love
One of
that
the
guy.
funniest.
Oh, that guy. He's like a Sean Patton type.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, you're a little different and weird and fun.
Well, it's all those guys I love, like, like Brent Weinbach.
Yeah.
Sean Patton.
Yeah.
Rory Scovel.
Mhm.
And who else? There's guys that are like, they call them Kaufman-esque.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever you want to call it. I just call it funny and different than, standard stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So she's doing a movie and then...
Then she's doing a play after that, so I think she's off the road for a while.
She's doing a play?
With Steve Martin, yeah.
Whoa, really?
Oh, yeah. She loves to act. I think acting is like her big passion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
So you're just out headlining road dates?
out headline. I just did an hour for Comedy Central.
Right.
And I burned the whole hour, so I'm trying to build a new hour. I'm about halfway there. But I want to do a Netflix. I just want to get that Netflix special. And there's no rush, but yeah, it's fun to build new material.
How do you do it? You write on stage?
Not as much as I should. What I do is, I guess I do. I write a joke in my apartment, and I bring it on stage. And after I do the joke, I just keep talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking about that joke, and something always comes.
Yeah, you keep going until it just ends. Like you can keep going. You get laughs, and then it rolls. I always say, like, I took it as far as I could.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's how you keep finding the gold.
Right, because the stage, it puts that fright in you where you're like,
does.
I gotta think quick.
Deer in the headlights.
Deer in the headlights, which you don't have in your apartment or at Starbucks or wherever the hell you're writing.
Yeah, at home you're just safe,
Right. At home you're killing. You're talking to a spoon. You're just picturing, oh my God.
Yeah.
Applause break.
You go out to L.A. much? I saw you out there once, like, 6 months ago?
Yeah, I gotta go back. I'm trying to do a Corden set. That's what I want to do.
A what?
A James Corden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. You want to do all of them.
I want to do all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
You done Tonight Show?
I have.
Fallon?
Yeah, I'm the first guy, and maybe the only guy, to do a Conan, a Colbert, and a Tonight Show within a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a Seth Meyers, a Kimmel, and a Corden. I'll be done.
Wow.
Collect the whole set.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you can do a Letterman. Just go to his house and do a set on his porch and shoot it.
Yeah.
How great would that be?
And have him call
That'd
the
be a
dogs
funny
on me.
documentary, actually.
That would be funny.
Like a mini 15-minute documentary where you're like, man, you point to all these.
That is funny.
And you go, look, I've done everyone,
Right.
but I never got to do Letterman.
Yeah.
I've got to do Letterman. And then you start sending emails and stuff, and then you just find out where he lives, and you just do it out in front of his house, even if he's not there.
That's not bad.
That shit is funny.
I was thinking the apartment hunt could be a funny doc.
Yeah, I believe that. Right, an apartment hunt. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to get an apartment unless it's through someone. Because, what am I going to say? Like, here's my money. The money just doesn't look right.
Right.
I don't make enough money,
Right.
Now, if the podcast gets bigger,
Yeah.
as far as advertisers go, then you can show advertising dollars, you
Yeah.
know? But, maybe my Patreon will be. I get my Patreon big enough, and I'll be like, "You see this Patreon right here? That's my job. Patreon's your job, actually, your income."
Right. And they're like, what are these? You're like, well, they're donations, but they're as good as money.
There's dudes on those Patreons that are making like $10,000 a month.
It's insane.
These video game kids and shit.
I know. It's a whole nother world out there. Like, every time I go to a club, I'm like, so who was here recently? They're like,
Yeah.
Jimmy Shmoda Hoodaha. I'm like, who's that? Like, oh, he's a YouTube star. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? And they're like, yeah, he sold out 18 shows. He had to add 5 and build a new club. I'm like, oh, fuck.
I know, right? Well, what's he do? He plays video games online, and he insults the other people.
Yes.
It's like, I do that every night. You know what I mean?
It's insane. Oh, he makes fun of gypsies for 45 minutes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's it? Who gives? Like, all the gypsies come out and see him.
It's crazy.
I didn't know we had gypsies anymore.
Did this locker come with the place?
No, I bought those.
That's like a small closet.
That's my closet. I needed more space. I got shoes in there and underwear and socks.
What's that microphone trophy? You got trophies in your house.
Oh, one of the I won Comedy Knockout, which is some dumb show on True TV.
Yeah.
It's like a comedy. I could get you on it. It pays. It's TV. Basically, you just go on with 2 other comics and you like out joke each other.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
I'll skip that.
Yeah, it's really dumb, but it's a quick cash grab and it's a TV credit, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I won a roast battle at the New York Comedy Fest.
All right.
Yeah, I beat Jermaine Fowler.
Nice.
Yeah, but he didn't really try, so it wasn't that hard.
Whenever somebody offers me like some weird TV thing, I'm like, I did Rogan's podcast. I'm good.
I know, that's the new Carson.
It's like, do you got 7 million viewers? All right, I'm good.
Right. Boy, those rack up viewers. Man, oh man, it's
7
crazy.
million, man. It's awesome.
I'll do a Conan. 6
Yep.
months later, I look at the YouTube, 100,000 hits. I'm like, oh, 100,000. Then I look at my friend on Rogan, and it's like, oh, 1,500,000. I'm like, fuck
yeah. Yeah, it's the, and you don't burn up any material.
me. Yeah.
Right?
I know. That's the way to go, man.
It's the new world.
It's the
You
new
got
world.
a podcast, right?
I do.
What's it called?
Tuesdays with Stories. Me and Joe List, basically we go on the road and document everything crazy that happens to us, and we just come back and talk about it.
He just got married.
He got married. We talked about that. I'll talk about Paris. I'll talk about Mali. I just went to China. We talked about that. So everything
You went to
comes up.
China to do comedy?
I did. Shanghai Comedy Club.
Oh, I know that one. That guy, like, sometimes he hangs out at the Cellar. Yeah.
Good guy, Andy Curtin. Great club.
Yeah.
Great city.
But you did one good gig and then a bunch of shitty ones, right?
I did 4 cities in 7 days, and one or two cities was brutal comedy. Then the rest were great.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was, I could see China.
Right.
And
Right.
I'll never go back. But I got a beer on the Great Wall.
No
And
shit.
I took my shirt off and I chugged that beer and got a photo of it, and I'm going to put it up there eventually.
You think you'll ever quit drinking?
No, I like it too much to quit. Well, that sounds stupid. But I like it too much to abuse it. That's
Right.
why I'm slowing down. So I'm like, I want to keep it in my life.
Yeah.
It's just, I like it. I like having a beer. I like having a scotch. I don't know. I'm into it.
Well, it's great to have you on, dude.
Hey, thanks for having. This is a lot of fun.
Very cool. What do you got coming up? This will be out in a couple weeks.
New York Comedy Fest, bunch of shows.
Oh, yeah.
Check my website, marknormancomedy.com, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on that.
All right, man. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on the podcast there on iTunes. That's how we keep it in the top 100. See you guys. Candles lit.